Hi, my name is Jack Howell, and I want to be the next sheriff. I want to be your sheriff of Flagler County. Now let's talk about the reasons why we need a very strong sheriff. I've been a resident of this county since 1990, and I've observed the various administrations since my residency, and the one key element that I have found missing has been leadership. A total lack of leadership, small unit leadership. I don't bring small unit leadership. I bring the vision of large city policing. In my background, I've been a chief of police at various large military installations with 100,000 plus. But what's more important here is that my experience is recognized throughout the nation. I have written several books in the field of criminal justice, which are used by students and colleges throughout the world. I am the only nationally recognized law enforcement administrator in this race. I also have been sought out frequently to sit on large city promotion boards for their captains, their lieutenants, their majors, their chiefs. This testifies to my experience as a law enforcement administrator. I've been to Birmingham, I've been to Miami-Dade, I've been to Cleveland, Ohio, as an example of some of the cities. Now, we need somebody that is a leader that can handle the money, budgeting. When I was a young major in Washington, D.C., the Carter administration introduced the concept of zero-based budgeting. So I've known it from 1977 on. I believe in line item performance. You need to see line item performance in the budget. And that brings me to the area of accountability. That's a new word that I want to bring into our county administration and the administration of the sheriff. It seems that somewhere along the line somebody forgot this word. And I also want to bring its cousin, responsibility. We need to have a sheriff. You need to have a sheriff that is totally accountable for his or her actions, that is responsible for the actions of their subordinates. Harry Truman once said, "The buck stops here." Well, the buck stops with your sheriff. Nothing should be hidden. I want a totally transparent administration. I want to live in a glass house, and I want to be frugal. I'm the one guy that knows how to take a budget and take $1 and stretch it into $1.50, even $2 in certain cases. A lot of people are concerned about crime. Let's talk about crime for a moment. The current administration would have you believe that everything is peachy keen here. We've had a drop in crime, when it's the opposite. We may have had a reduction in minor crimes, petty theft, but when we talk about violent crimes, the recent Uniform Crime Report published by the Federal Bureau of Investigation shows that Flagler County in the year 2007 had an increase of 12.9% in violent crimes. This, my friends, is totally unacceptable and can be stopped with the proper sources of information and the rigorous enforcement of our laws. Let's talk about gangs. One of the neat abilities that I have is that I spent 13 years teaching in inner city high schools. So I'm the gang members' worst nightmare. I know how they think. But we also need positive programs of youthful intervention that can turn these kids. This doesn't exist in our county today. When you think about it, giving a kid a basketball, putting the lights on the stadium so they can go out there on the basketball court, does two things, my friends. Number one, it draws bugs and flies, and number two, it also the drug dealers seem to gravitate. This can't be allowed, and we've got to provide positive youth intervention programs. Let's talk about the drug dealers. It is my intention to drive the drug dealers out of our county. No questions asked. They're going to be leaving because I have programs that will be instituted that'll prevent successful operations of their sales and production. And finally, we need to talk a little bit about professionalism. The department of our law enforcement agencies, especially the county government or the sheriff's department, needs to be a professionally run organization. We have to have professional training. It is only through training that we can reduce the fear of vicarious liability. This is something that I want to ensure that our deputies are well trained, well equipped, so that at the end of their shift, they will be able to go home safe and sound. They will have the best training. And in a crunch situation, they'll know what to do. I've been there. I know what we're talking about here. My mettle has been tested, both in combat and administratively in the halls of Congress. Finally, if we're going to make the significant change, if we're going to have the openness of government, if we're going to have the media being allowed to have access to everything, and I have no problem with providing this access as long as it doesn't break the law, compromise an ongoing investigation, or compromise officer safety. You, my friends, all of us, have the right to know what is going on in our community. And I find it interesting that this being an election year, the current administration is all of a sudden trying to increase the abilities of the department to provide you with this information. This should have been done over 20 years ago. Now, the most important thing is if we, as a community, want change, I need your vote. Please vote for me, Jack Howell, and I promise I will not let you down. And that's the only promise I'm going to make, because I don't believe in broken promises. I believe in performance. Thanks for watching the video.